All right, here we are. Welcome to your 5 steps to a successful fast. I'm going to go ahead and share a screen here. And let's get started. So I want to start by welcoming you and just reminding you, you may have signed up for this a little while ago. So I just want to remind you why you're here and what we're going to be talking about. So today we're going to talk about what is fasting. We're talking about 5 steps to a successful fast. Let's make sure we're on the same page and talk about what is fasting. We'll talk about why we should fast. And then we'll go through the 5 steps to a successful fast, which are really potent. If you're able to take notes, I highly recommend it. You will get a replay to this as well. So, and if you're watching the replay, you're welcome to pause. Um, as always, I kind of pack a lot of info in, and hopefully that benefits you. Any questions? If you're watching this, if you're here with me live, pop them in the chat, unmute. If you're watching a replay, just shoot me a note. All right, question for you. And I want you to really just sit with this question, think about it, and kind of feel the answer. You might get an immediate answer, like a felt sense in your body, or maybe a thought in your mind. If there was a way you could shed excess weight, improve your energy, your brain function, sleep, mood, and more without medication, would you raise your hand and say, heck yes? That's me. That's really what got me into fasting was I needed help with all of that. And so for you, what's that for you? Does that feel like a heck yes, like in your body? And just notice for yourself. Okay, so let's talk about, here we go. What is fasting? My computer's got a little delay here. Hopefully you can see it okay. Well, I'm not sure what's happening here. Here we go. I'll just keep clicking. There we go. What is fasting? Here we well, I can if the here we go. What is fasting? So it kind of starts with the obvious. Fasting is, but I think people make it bigger than it is. And fasting is literally, it's a time in which you're not eating. So you are doing it already. You already are having a time when you're not eating. It might be fairly short, especially if you like to do a late night snack, early breakfast, whatever. But it's literally the time in which you're not eating. It's a time when your body and your digestive tract especially gets a chance to rest and digest and help restore. It's a time when like so much is happening like in your brain. It's great for your liver. It's just a great time for your body to help reset. So it's a time when you're not eating. Um, and here's also what it is, along with that obvious. It's a way to help your body heal. Fasting not only gives your body that time to rest, it also allows inflammation, any pain and discomfort to kind of to lessen. It also, when you fast for a certain length of time, you trigger something called autophagy, and that helps. That's a process where it's literally it's, autophagy means self-eating, and your good healthy cells help eat away and get rid of your bad cells. So that, as you can imagine, with certain conditions, you'd really want that. And that can help you boost your energy, help with all kinds of body functions. Super amazing. Fasting is also a natural fat burning window. So when your insulin drops, when you're not putting food in your body that's turning into glucose, your insulin is allowed to drop. And then your body switches fuel sources. So instead of using glucose from food, it switches to the stored fat for energy. So again, based on how long you fast, it gives your body more or less time to burn that stored fat. Okay, next. It's a it's a metabolic reset button. So fasting can improve your blood sugar regulation, hormone sensitivity, and digestion. It's really like a reboot for your system. And this is a big one for those who are emotional eaters or eat because you're bored or distracted or you don't know what else to do. You put food in your mouth. You're not alone. It's really a chance to check in and not check out. Fasting really helps you get into touch with why you do put food in your body. You know, sometimes there's true hunger, but sometimes it's just maybe it's what we're trained to do. Maybe it's conditioning, maybe it's emotional. So it gives you, fasting helps give you clarity and awareness of your habits and sometimes unexpected emotional insights. Okay, so why should we fast? We are designed for feast and famine. Like our ancestors, if you think about back in our caveman days, we did not have 24/7 access to food. We did not have DoorDash. We did not have uh, those little machines, vending machines where you could get, you know, your candy whenever you felt like it. We did not have pantries full of chips. We are designed, our bodies are designed for times of eating and designed for times of not eating. So our bodies are meant to cycle. If you think about the cycles of the earth, there are seasons, there are days, everything kind of ebbs and flows. If you go to the ocean, nature is such a great reflection. We are designed just like nature for times when there's more and times where there's less. So fasting is really built into our biology. When we don't eat, the body flips into maintenance mode and it's doing cleaning up of damaged cells. It's helping to balance your hormones. It's resetting your metabolism. It's not about starving your body. And I can't say this enough. Fasting is not about starving your body. It's not about calorie restriction. It's about self repair. It's about putting you into a healing state. It's not about restriction. So I really want to reinforce that again and again, especially for those who are emotional eaters. When we choose to not eat, then it's not about self restriction, it's about turning on that self healing. This makes me emotional. I don't know why. Next one, our modern eating schedule is really the weird part. Like 3 meals a day plus snacks, that's really a recent invention. For most of human history, eating was less frequent, and that kept bodies lean, sharp, and resilient. So really consider that. And like even maybe our grandparents had breakfast, but do they have 3 meals plus snacks a day? Maybe if they were working on the farm. I don't know. Okay, next, survival mode is superpower mode. So in a fasted state, when we're in that fasted state, the brain gets sharper. When we're in that fasted state and we switch to that fat burner mode, our liver creates ketones, which fuel our brain. Our brains love getting ketones. That helps us think sharper. Our energy gets more stable and instincts kick in. And if you think about it, we're designed for that because our bodies, think about our ancestors again. We didn't get food for a certain amount of time. Our body's like, oh, I need to get on this. We're going to help you see better, think better. We're going to help you become a better hunter gatherer. And it's really how we survived, you know, not while being bloated after having a big stack of pancakes. No judgment. And then finally, why should we fast? You're not broken. You're just out of rhythm. And fasting really helps you realign with how your body naturally wants to work. So when you can get everything back in sync, everything feels easier. Your energy, weight, focus, even your mood. It's such a great tool. So before we get too far, I should introduce myself. This is just the basics. I am a mom to 3 awesome kiddos. I've got one little helper over here who maybe he'll pop his head up. I am a wife, entrepreneur. I live in Colorado, love to get outside um, and play as much as possible, but I also am super passionate about teaching and creating community and supporting women through tricky times and tough times, especially this time of life, you know, midlife, I'll call it. We need a new term because that makes me feel old, but supporting women in this kind of time is really my calling. And a little bit more related to the work we're doing here. I am a Fast Like a Girl certified coach. If you're familiar with the Fast Like a Girl book, or Dr. Mindy Pell's, she really got into taking the conversation about fasting, which had been very male focused, male centric, to bringing it to women. Because women need to fast differently than men. Our hormones are different. And when we fast the way men fast, we will have serious issues over time. We might have short term results, but we really need to, like nature, we need to ebb and flow. There need to be times when we fast, times when we feast. We need to honor our hormonal rhythms, and I will help guide you through that. I am a rapid transformational therapy practitioner that helps people change thoughts and beliefs and do deeper healing at the subconscious level. I'm a yoga teacher, vinyasa and prenatal. So, like, that mind body connection is really important for me. And in my past lives, I have also been a designer, photographer, and I feel like those really connect. Like, the more we can understand how systems and how people work and how it's all connected, and looking for the beauty of things and patterns of things, that's how we can better understand and better heal. All right. So here's why I got into fasting. So I'll read through these, especially for those who are just listening. I got into fasting due to I had a loss of energy. I'd always been fairly high energy my whole life. I had weight gain that really didn't make sense. I was sick all the time, like getting through COVID, especially. Someone would just like cough or look at me funny in the same room, and I'd get sick, within days. I would struggle focusing, like brain fog, it felt like. I know a lot of people talk about brain fog. And for me, that like felt like difficulty focusing, and actually felt like maybe ADHD. And I think I might still have it, but if I do, fasting has really helped my symptoms. Joint pain, I would get joint pain, injury related or not, and fatigue. So those things were all really what triggered me to look for a solution that didn't require medication. I'm like to get medication for all these things, I'm like, that would be like probably seven different things. So I was really looking for a solution that was sustainable, and I just sensed that there would be some way to do this, like with my own self. And that's an awesome thing about fasting. Fasting doesn't require anything outside you. It's all inside you, and triggering. It's using a time where you're not eating to trigger your body's own natural healing mechanisms. Awesome. No medications required. So here's what I found when I started fasting. My brain function has improved tremendously. My joint aches and pains have gone away. It was so weird. Like, I would have pain in my knee going up and down the stairs. That's gone. My energy is naturally increased. Sugar cravings lessened. I still struggle with it sometimes, but it's not anything like it used to be. Like, I still love it, but I don't crave it like in a way where it would like consume me almost. My strength and endurance have improved, and my immune system I wrote down here back on track, but honestly, it was more than that. Like, I feel like I have this tool. Like, my whole life, I've really struggled to stay healthy and well, and get sick very easily. Allergies contributing to that, other things as well. And it really was a huge boost to my immune system. And even now, when I feel something coming, I can throw a little fast at it. If I get sick, I don't get as sick as I used to. And it doesn't last as long. Okay. So with that all in place, let's go ahead and jump into the 5 steps for a successful fast. Okay, so here we go. And again, I've got a question for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can successfully fast? And instead of getting into your head too much, kind of feel into your body based on what I've talked about already, and like the benefits, and kind of how it's an innate thing for us. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that you can successfully fast? And this is just an honest share, like no judgment. One being, I have no idea what I'm doing. 10 being, I'm a pro. In the middle, feeling so-so. So just think about that. And you're welcome to share it in the chat. If you're watching the replay, you can write that down. Think about that for yourself. How confident are you that you can successfully make this happen? And my goal is in sharing these next 5 steps to help move you on that scale if you're not already at a 10, to bring you to there or even beyond. Okay, so step 1 out of the 5 steps is food. So we're going to talk about the aspects of food that you'll want to focus on. So this fasting lifestyle we're going to talk, it's not just about not eating, it's about then when you do eat, what are you eating? And we want to start by cleaning up the foods you're eating. It's not about perfection. It's really about just being more aware of what you're putting in your mouth, in your body. So start by looking what actually is in your food. So our goal is whole foods, less processed foods. We want fewer ingredients that you can pronounce, and really meals that come from the earth as much as possible, not a lab. So think about choosing foods that your great grandmother might have chosen, things that she would recognize. So when in doubt, real food wins. And the next, choosing foods that support your hormonal health. So your hormones are really like an orchestra and when one instrument is off, the whole sound is off. So the right foods can really help bring everything into tune. So that means avoiding inflammatory junk and focusing on things, some great foods that support your hormonal health in general are leafy greens, cruciferous veggies, and hormone-friendly fats. It's not just about feeling full, it's really about feeling balanced. So thinking about foods, and you can always check in with your body before you even go into the kitchen, before you're super hungry, just kind of check in and be like, what do I feel like I need today? And it might start out being like, I want Doritos. But understand that over time, that will change as your body begins to trust that question. What do I want to eat today? What would feel good in my body? What would support my brain? What would support my energy? And the more you learn about foods and how they help, the more your body's gonna say, oh, I actually feel like, having some beans, rice, and greens today. You know, okay. And then next, these 3 things, we really want to prioritize protein, good fats, and fiber. We typically in our diet prioritize carbs. Carbs can be good, especially at certain times of the month, and especially carbs from the earth, nature's carbs like sweet potatoes, whatnot. It can be amazing. But we would really want to prioritize protein, good fats, and fiber. Um, like good fats, I feel like I could really go into, but I'm just going to keep it kind of surface for the sake of time. If you're like me, you grew up hearing fat is bad, fat is demon, you do not eat fat. But really, these are what we need. We need them for brain health, for hormonal health. Protein helps keep us satiated, it helps build muscle. Fat supports our brain, our hormones, and fiber is great for helping break down hormones after we've used them. It's great to help keep everything moving, helps give you a sense of fullness as well. So when you build your meals around these 3 things, that helps your mood stabilize and helps your body feel more nourished, helps your cravings chill out. So you might find a lot of things when you really focus on those good foods and put those big foods first, those big good foods first. A lot of the junk food just kind of falls by the wayside. You don't want it as much when you give your body these things that it truly needs and craves. And it also helps when you can do this, eat a meal that helps you feel satiated, then you're also not as likely to snack. You don't need something every 90 minutes. You can go hours to the next meal, again, giving your body more time to rest and digest. Okay, step 1, food. Step 2, About this is about building a network of support. A little bit different. Maybe you weren't expecting this in creating your 5 steps to having a successful fast, but I really can't say enough about this. So the biggest thing is to start with you internally. What is your why? Why are you here? You're welcome to share in the chat what fasting would do for you. Why are you here? And then look for the deeper reason. For some, it might be weight loss. And well, that's good. That's awesome. That's a great place to start. What will that weight loss help you? For example, maybe it will help you um uh feel more confident. And if you feel more confident, you're more likely to, reach out to new opportunities at work. And that would help you feel more a sense of purpose with the work you do, that kind of thing. So you can kind of you see how you can get deeper and deeper pretty quickly. So when you know your why and keep that front and center, it's really gonna help. Yeah. Okay. Oh, and I was going to share here, I was going to share my why as well, which currently I'm in a 72-hour fast. I'm a little bit past the halfway point. Um, and my why is not as emotional this time, but it often is. Like right now, it's like my ongoing issue is gallbladder. I have a really, I've been tested for everything. They never find anything. But I get intense pain whenever I eat, and it feels like just like a rock in my gallbladder. So I'm doing this longer fast to give it the chance to really rest and heal, and hopefully give it some good stem cells and whatnot to help it heal and improve. I'm trusting that this fast will do it. I also had an injury on a trip recently to my Achilles. So my goal is for that Achilles to heal as well. And two, I was just feeling overall I needed an energy boost. So those are my three things. And really, if I look for my deeper why, it's so I can feel good and have the energy to enjoy summer with my family. So that's my why right now. And I tell you what, a 72-hour fast is no small thing for me anyway. Some people get into it no problem. Okay, number two, finding people that are going to cheer you on and encourage your journey. If you've done anything like fasting or any kind of anything else in the past for your health, like a diet or workout routine or anything, you'll often find there are people who get it and people who don't. And be really mindful of who you share your journey with. Share it only with the people who are going to support you, who are going to encourage you, and not be like, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" If you want, you can share this training with them. Share other resources with them to help them understand the point of fasting. Again, it's not about starvation. It's not excessive calorie restriction. It's to put your body into a healing state. That is the reason, and we want people around us that are going to encourage that. So be really mindful of that. And then the third in the network of support is your physical environment. So thinking about your physical environment, how is that going to support you? Moving temptations. So if you're in a house, with other people like I am, I can't get rid of all the stuff that I don't want to eat. So like luckily I have a pantry with a door. So I try to keep everything in the pantry, keep the door closed as much as possible. I try to minimize the amount of cooking I have to do. That's a big thing for me. And then another thing is to plan to be busy. Like for me, doing this training, perfect. Doing some decluttering, getting out for a walk, meeting with friends, that helps me a lot. Other people love to rest during times of fasting. They love a good book. They love to do, baths, things like that. And I mix those in for sure. But like for me, overall, keeping busy is the best plan for me. So think about what that might be for you. All right. Step three, have a plan. So really coming into fasting with a plan um, will support you, give you kind of a like know what you're doing. And number one with that would be like, what are your goals? So again, thinking about your why. For me, it's that, that gallbladder. Um, and so then I think about the actions I'm taking. I think about there's certain little tricks and tips I can do during the fast to support that, to encourage like greater detox. To like, am I drinking enough water? Am I taking that Epsom salt bath? Am I going for easy walks? So am I focusing on those actions I'm taking during my fast or on the outcome? And so if you think about that, at the end of the 72-hour fast, if I find my gallbladder is still a little funky, I could feel really down about that. But I can also look at the actions I took and feel proud of myself for the actions I took. And there's also the thing to keep in mind with outcome-based goals is that sometimes the outcome doesn't happen right away, but it comes in time. So that's even with weight. So if like weight is your goal and you do a 72-hour, 24-hour, 17-hour fast, whatever, all kinds of different fasts, um, you'll get sometimes immediate results, and sometimes that comes over time or with repetition. So the more each time you fast, it help it's putting your body into a healing state, and those layer on each other. So you're like, the more you do them, the more you become like well-oiled, like a well-oiled fasting machine. And so things improve time after time after time. So even if my gallbladder isn't feeling great by the end of this, I'm going to trust that I helped it. I'm going to trust that it made a difference. And I'm going to keep going. And I'm going to go back into eating and eating good foods to support my body. And then when I do my next fast in a couple weeks or so, then I'll trust that that's again one more layer making a difference. Okay, so thinking about your goals. And then two, determine your schedule for fasting and feasting. Um, so where are you in your cycle if you're cycling? Do you have any social events or trips coming up? Come up with a schedule and allow it to work with your priorities. So schedule if you're doing just a shorter fast, like a 17-hour fast, um, we think about your priorities. Are your priorities having dinner with your family? Then you do not fast, you do not miss dinner with your family. Or do you do Saturday morning or Sunday morning breakfast? Those are your priorities, you work around your priorities. And also too, thinking about like those social events that jump in, you know don't set yourself up for success. So think about what might get in the way of your success. Okay, so what's your plan for what happens when things don't go according to plan? So if a last minute social thing comes up, will you stick to the fasting or will you go? Either way, no judgment, nothing's right or wrong. But my suggestion would be whenever something like that comes up, pause, get curious, and intentionally choose your next steps. Don't feel like you're falling into like a reactionary mode. Actively choose where you're going to go when your plan needs to adjust. Okay, I'm going to move through this. I want to make sure we have enough time. Okay, so that was step 3, having a plan. Step 4 is a big one, minding your stress. Stress management is a huge part of building a healthy fasting lifestyle. Stress and its hormonal buddy, cortisol, can really mess with your hormones and can get in the way of you healing and releasing excess weight if that's your goal. So here are some simple tricks. Super simple. Get outside. We are meant to be in harmony with the natural world. We're meant to move amongst the trees. We're meant to breathe fresh air. So getting outside regularly can make a huge difference. Obviously, you can't say enough about getting outside. And it's been proven, for those, if you have a busy work schedule or you're in a city or traveling a lot, it's been proven that just even looking at images of nature and listening to the sounds of nature can help reduce stress. So keep those things in your back pocket. All right. So step two, self-care. Have awareness for what you need as you fast. So what brings you joy? What do you love? And self-care can look like a lot of different things. It can look like a walk, it can look like a massage, it can look like saying no to something that you don't really want to do. So self-care can be boundaries, putting up loving boundaries. Um, and I'd love to know, feel free to share in the chat or think about it as you're watching the replay. What are some things you love to do to give yourself some love? Again, how can you show yourself that you are worth this and that you love yourself? Okay. And then a third aspect of this is movement. Think about movement, obviously walking, dancing, jumping, just anything to kind of shake things up, keep your energy movement moving. Big type of movement is anything bilateral where you're going back and forth. So walking, running, hiking, riding a bike, those are all really great for your mind, for stress, for easing. And again, what are your favorites? As you prepare for your fast time, you can make a list of these because sometimes when you're a fast, you don't you don't think of the obvious. So really thinking of the obvious there is great. All right, step four, minding your stress. Step five, minding your mind. So right now, as you're here listening to this, what thoughts and beliefs might get in the way of your fasting journey success. So right now, as I'm talking about fasting and talking about what that might look like or feel like for you, what doubts are popping up for you? What fears? What might get in the way of that? And I want you to really think about this. Again, if you're watching the replay, you can pause, you can write it down for yourself. And here's what you're going to say to those. You're going to acknowledge them because it's amazing your mind has shared that with you. So, those thoughts and beliefs that are popping up, I want you to not acknowledge them. Say, I hear you, I see you, and let's try this anyways. Let's see what happens. Let's give it a go. Okay. All right. And then, what words would you love to hear to help your mind feel supported? So, you can write that down. Yeah. You can share in the chat as well. What words would you love to hear? So writing them down again before you're fasting. And even then, as you fast, journaling is a really amazing thing to do as you're fasting. It can be a real spiritual journey for some people, a real emotional healing journey, because you find yourself with all this time because you're not thinking about what to eat, you're not having to prepare food to eat, you're not having to eat, and so you find yourself with this extra time, which is like an unexpected bonus, right? So maybe that worked out well for me being in a fast right now. I had more time to prepare. So what would you love to hear? What's going to help your mind feel supported? And then the third, these are things that typically show up during fasting: shame, judgment, and impatience. So, what I'm going to ask for instead is focusing, instead of shame, you bring grace. Instead of judgment, you bring kindness to yourself. Instead of impatience, hurrying, feeling like you have to hurry for results, get curious. Like I said before, like thinking about my gallbladder and like if I don't get the results I'm hoping for, you know, it's okay. I did the steps, I took the actions, I feel better, and like I'll probably feel better in some kind of unexpected ways. It happens every time. And then getting curious, like what else might my body need? Is there anything else I can do? Or maybe it's just more time. Okay. So those are the 5 steps. We have one bonus step. And that's keeping the big picture front and center because, again, for those who are new to fasting, especially as you start getting into the doing or the not doing, I guess, of the fasting, it can feel like you have a lot of weird thoughts running through your mind and like, oh, I should just like skip it. I don't need to do this. So really keeping the big picture, keeping your why front and center is huge. So so here's one thing that I find helps a lot. Um, so again, my gallbladder. Um, I don't need to get focused on the thing I can focus on really, I can focus on the actions I'm taking. I can focus on, doing some breath work. I can focus on doing some meditating or some visualizations that are going to support me during this fast. I can focus on taking a walk, drinking good water. Um, I I can't control the outcome. I can do everything I can, but I can't get focused on that. So that's going to help me get through it. And then, two, as part of this, right, trusting the process. Get curious, track what I do, track the actions I take, see what happens. Be your own scientist. In fasting, they talk about being the N of one. So you are your best experiment. You are the best scientist of you. You are the best doctor of you because you live in this body, immediately you do something, you feel the results. So you take a certain medication, you know how it makes you feel. Okay, so really getting curious as you go through this. And then third, let this be a lifestyle that you continue to cultivate. So, like I talked about the layering of fasting, really let this be a lifestyle that continues to be cultivated for your life. So, I'm teaching to you this now, and think about how old you are now and where you are now, and how this might look if you did this for a full year, if you did this for 5 years, 15 years, 20 years, and more. Like, think about if you just kind of incorporated this into one of the rhythms of your life that you already have. You're already going through rhythms, cycles. As when we were younger, we went through puberty and then this whole like time of procreation. And then if you're like me, you're coming on the other side of that into menopause. And so we have all of that. And then there's a whole life. Women live 40% of their lives past our procreation state. So we are meant to live a whole life past that time. So really thinking about that, get curious and like, how can you support your health through all those stages? How can you find rhythm throughout all those stages? Okay, so taking a big deep breath. I just went through a lot. Hopefully you feel like you've got some good ideas, some good options. Again, watch the replay. I know I went through this quickly. Um, I'd love to hear now again, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling now that you can successfully fast? And and to clarify successfully fasting, now that we've talked a little bit more, um, any fast. So let's say, so right now I'm doing a 72 hour and let's see how many hours I am into it. I am, I don't know if you can see that. I am 41 hours and 40 minutes into it. If I decide at 42 hours that I would like to be done, even though like 72 is great for certain things because it can help really do really deeper healing, that's why I'm doing it for the gallbladder, is it can be more intensive healing. But if I decide at 42 hours, I'm done, that's okay. It's still a successful fast. I still achieved healing. I still got my body into a state of rest and healing and autophagy and so many benefits. Starting to stimulate human growth hormone, all these things that it's tend to these natural healing things that as we get older tend to decline. Fasting helps improve. I feel like I could teach so many classes on this. I had to choose, but I'd love to know kind of how you feel at this point. You can put it in the chat, or you can just again write it down. Think about it. You know, where are you right now? Yeah. Yeah, Daphne says, I appreciate you addressing the mental and emotional questions we may ask ourselves. Thank you. Yeah, that is uh, the fasting brings up a lot. It can really it can be a time for great healing in a lot of ways. It can just really kind of pull stuff up as we're releasing. Fasting is a great detoxing tool, and it not only detoxes, you know, the obvious of like foodstuffs and whatnot, but really it helps you unearth emotions. If you're familiar with the book, The Body Keeps a Score, we hold a lot of things in our body, and uh, we uh, whoops, sorry, I already clicked that. We hold a lot of things in our body, and fasting helps get us better understanding who we are, where we are, what we're capable of. It's really amazing. Okay, so okay. Oops, we just had someone pop in here. Okay, so wherever you are on that scale, I've got you. Whether you're at a 1, at a 10, somewhere in between, even if you're at a 12 or at less than 1, I can totally support you. And this is here we go. We've got our intro to fasting. I'm going to be offering, so this is my offer, my deeper offer for those who are interested. Um, uh, I'll be offering a 6-week experience, and this will be a paid program. And here's what we'll be talking about. These are kind of funny. Sorry about my weird little clicks here. Here we go. We're going to be building your fasting foundations, and the first step, we're really going to focus on food. So, like I talked about in fasting, it's not just about what we're not eating, it's about what we are eating. So, if we can focus on really nourishing our bodies when we're in our eating window, you'll find that fasting is much easier. And then step 2, we'll get into that building your network of support. So, really, again, working on your internal reasons for why you're fasting, helping to gather people around you. Just being in this community will help you build your network of support. And then 3, setting up your environment so that it sets you up for success. And then step 3 will help you create your custom plan based to your cycle if you're still a cycling woman. If you're not cycling anymore, I've got you. We've got ways to design it based on we we I'll go into this more if you choose to jump in, but we schedule around the moon, which is super cool because we are designed to ebb and flow with the moon and the tides, if you think about that. So we'll help you create your custom plan that way. And then the next step is really building a library for peace. So, like I talked about during the fast, when you're getting into a time of stress or feeling like things are tricky or hard, you'll have access to a library. And this includes things that I'll be creating, meditations, some hypnosis type audios. We'll also share resources so they're easily accessible. And then with the group RTT and hypnosis audio sessions, hey, Viviana, welcome. So glad you could join us. So with the group RTT sessions, hypnosis audios, we'll have those, a live session, at least one that we'll do live together. And those are really about helping to get to the root cause of issues for health, weight loss. They're about deepening your healing and your self-love. So we'll be doing all that together as part of the program. And just so you see kind of what that looks like week by week, there's a lot of overlap as we go through week to week. So We're going to start the first 2 weeks is really going to be about prepping you. We're going to be focusing on food, helping you better understand the benefits of different length fasts, and so that you can choose what kind of fast you want to do for the next 4 weeks. So the first 2 weeks are about prep, and then the first 2 weeks are prep, and then the 4 weeks after that are we'll be fasting together for 30 days. So in that, we'll be working on kind of the inner game with those hypnosis, the audios and affirmations, really helping get your mind on board with this. Like, because when you can get your subconscious on board and really understanding the benefits of fasting and those healing mechanisms you're going to be activating as you fast, that's going to be huge. And we'll do deeper trainings as well. That's help you understand your hormones better, types of fasts. And then, so on Monday every week, we'll have a training. And then on Thursday, I think we're going to do Thursdays, we'll have a Q&A slash coaching call. So as things are coming up, as we're learning, as you're integrating, we'll have those Q&A supports as well. So twice a week. If you can't make it live, no worries. Everything will be recorded. And then the Q&As as well, you'll be able to submit your questions in advance. So weeks 3, 4, 5, 6, we're fasting. We're doing the things. We're continuing to learn. We're continuing to share and support each other and taking up from there. And then, so here are some of the topics we'll be talking about in those trainings. We'll be talking about the foods again that really support your cycle and hormones. So different foods at different times support you and your natural rhythms. And also like understanding that when you are fasting, if you hit a rough patch, there are tips and tricks for helping you get through those rough patches. We'll train on those. Again, different types of fasts. So the different length fasts, there are kind of, I think there are 6 or 7 different length fasts mostly, and we'll talk about those and their benefits. And then we'll also talk about gentle detoxing. Like that's a huge one to really boost your benefits and make fasting easier. Other ideas are Daphne, like you mentioned before, working on a vision. So we'll talk about crafting your personal health vision. We'll talk about nervous system regulation. We'll do a hormone deep dive so you understand what you're actually doing as you fast and how it changes those hormones. We'll help you understand your blood sugar and ketones and how to read those, which can support you as well. Will help you know how to read labels if that's something you need help with. So I know some people are super fluent on reading labels and some people don't. So we'll really see like a lot of this is my first time doing this training, this group program live. So I really want to like this will be a great time to jump in because I really want to craft it to what people need. So I'll post that here. If you want to jump in, there's a link I just put in the chat as well. And you can see the price and everything, which I honestly don't remember what it is. But if you click on that link, you should be able to get that, no problem. Well, so we start on Monday, this coming Monday, June 2nd, we'll be having our kickoff call. So we're starting soon. You can take some days to think about it. You can let me know if you have any questions. And 2, for those who sign up today, you're on this call, you're hearing it. Where it is, here we go. This is like one of my favorite things. I'll show you mine. Mine is super messy right now. But I created this workbook. And I use it to track my fast. I track my water intake, which day, like day of the month and day of my cycle, my fasting start and end times, the hours I've fasted, hours of sleep, my energy levels, how many steps I've taken, what I've done to detox for the day, and what I've done to de-stress. And then it also has like a food tracker as well. So you go by the day and it talks about what to prioritize. So that's a bonus that you get as well. So, and then let's hop into questions. I see Viviana has questions. So if you have questions, yeah, Viviana, thanks for raising your hand. You're welcome to unmute. You can turn on your camera, whatever you prefer. And I'm going to turn off the screen share.
Good morning, Kate.
Good morning, Viviana. Good to see you.
Crazy. I just come from the meeting. I just gonna get on time to the meeting. But I'm confused. What time is supposed to start the meeting at 10 or it was early? Because in my schedule say 10 and I see now that it's just going a lot of information that I don't feel like I was on time.
It was at 10 Denver time, Mountain time.
Okay, probably I'm late.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. No worries. So I'll send you a replay so you can catch the beginning. We just got into some good details about like if you're new to fasting, how to do it in a way to really support yourself in all the ways, like body, mind, spirit, socially, because it can be tricky fasting, and we can decide we want to do it and we start doing it, and then little things can pop up along the way. So really what I talked about was just ways to kind of prepare yourself and get into it and feel supported and successful.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. I'm glad you could join us. And no worries. The time zones are always a tricky thing. Let me look through the comments and see if there's anything else. Stephanie says, I love the idea of a reset, metabolic, mood, focus. Yes. Yeah. So that's really fasting is about not just the metabolic reset, it's also hormonal reset, helping your mood, helping so much. Like the benefits, I can't say enough. And like I said, I'll go back to the slide here. Like what I found with fasting. Here, I'll share this because I think Viviana missed this too. And that way we can just kind of circle back to that. Here we go.
A question just now that you sent it the link to pay. So the next step, I know you talked about probably this before, but the next step is pay to join the next training that you're going to do. Yes, because I really want to take the train. So that's the money if I listened before because someone just recommended me you as the best in this process that I'm going to study. So because of that recommendation, I just believe this is the best. So my question is basically you put it into the chat the link to go straight to pay. This is mean is the next step to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the next step. And I will grab, I did not have uh, the info. Let me grab the info. Um, and I will share that with you. I was going to send out an email afterwards with more information, Viviana, but let me pull that up right now because it has like times and stuff that I
Okay.
didn't
Thank you.
that I did not commit to memory. And these times will be um, Denver time, but usually I will also say, are you Pacific?
Yes, I'm in San
Okay.
Francisco.
Okay. I'll usually say like what the conversions are for each time zone, at least in the US.
Yes.
And I usually throw London in there because we've got some London folks sometimes. Okay, let me see since. Okay, here we go. Okay, program details. Here we go. Okay, I'm gonna cut and paste this into the chat and I'll read it out loud too. Let me stop that sharing so I can see the chat. Okay. And let me check one thing here, Viviana, real quick. Um, okay. So, and all calls are at 10 a.m. Mountain, which is the same time as now. So the 10 a.m. Mountain is 9 a.m. Pacific, which is 12 p.m. East Coast, New York. Daphne, I think are you still? I'm actually, last time I was talking to you, you were in France, so I'm not sure where you are now, but um, so we'll start on Monday, June 2nd. And you'll see my dates are a little bit off. I had initially planned to do the Q&A calls on Friday, but I'm going to move them to Thursday because a lot of people are traveling on Fridays. So so it's Mondays and Thursdays, starting on Monday, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon East, and we'll start with that training call next Monday, and we'll dive in. And for those who are ready to start fasting like immediately, we can start like lengthening and kind of building up slowly. But the big thing is going to be like really working on our food, working on like the emotional and any stress load, and like getting our environment prepared, and then when we're getting into fasting, um, getting into that. So hopefully that helps. Let me know what questions you have. If you don't think of all your questions now, that's totally fine. I think you all have my email address. You can email me. If you found me on socials, you can send me something via socials. Um, Let me know, and I'll just hold out here for a few minutes if you have any questions. But otherwise, that's it. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for taking time and guide us this
Yeah,
process.
I'm glad you could hop on, Viviana, and I'll be sending out the replay soon so you can listen to that first part.
Yes, I will be happy because for sure I feel like this is the time to start with this new journey. I don't know if you recognize his name, Shannon. Forgot the name. His last name is Murphy.
Yes,
Shannon.
yep, yep,
So
she's fantastic.
he's recommended you because we are working now together, taking a different certificate. And we were coaching each other, and so I just talked to her about what is my goal. And actually, my goal is a lot this topic. So then she said, okay, I know what is the best person that is going to help you and guide you in your goal. I say, okay, I'm my own. So that's why I'm here.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Tell her thank you, and I'll shoot her a note as well. I appreciate that, and thank you for letting me know.
Well,
Shannon sent you. She's fantastic too. I love her.
she's a really good person.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. So if you have any other questions, let me know. And Viviana, I know you hopped on kind of right when I was explaining the program, so hopefully you got most of those details. And Daphne, thank you for your shares throughout the training. I
So
appreciate that.
you are going to share with me the record of this meeting through my email, or where are you going to help me with this?
Yeah, the same email that you signed up with. Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay. Thank you. I will check in my email. Thank you.
Okay, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. And Daphne,
Okay. So at this point, I just want to say thank you and bye.
you're welcome. Bye. And Daphne, thanks so much. You're so welcome. I appreciate you. So great to see you again. And have an amazing day. Bye, you guys.